Welcome to Coco's 2D Tutorials, brought to you by Bob Hewland. For more information, go to bobhewland.com/cocos2d. In this tutorial, we are going to learn some advanced sound sorcery. As you remember from a previous tutorial, we could use simple audio engine to play sound effects. In fact, we could play up to 32 sound effects simultaneously. We can also use a CD audio manager to play on 2 different channels. And on a channel we can play something called an audio source. Typically, you will play a background music on the left channel, and you will play some other audio source like narration on the right channel. There are 2 main advantages for using audio sources instead of sound effects. The first is that you can handle very long sounds. And the other advantage is that audio sources generate a didFinishPlaying callback when they finish. You can catch this callback and do something useful when the sound finishes. Let's go to Xcode and explore this. We are inside Xcode. In this tutorial, we will start where we left off in the sound sorcery tutorial. We have added some resources. We have 2 images for the third button. And we have 2 new sounds. One called power.mp3. Let's listen to it.
You don't know the power.
And the other one called dark.mp3. Let's listen.
Of the dark side.
Otherwise, the code is exactly the same. We create 2 buttons, add them to the layer, and preload a sound effect and some background music. Our task is to detect when a sound ends, and our plan is to use CD Audio Manager. Previously, we used simple audio engine, but we can't detect when a sound ends with simple audio engine. That's why we must use CD Audio Manager. Let's go back to Hello World layer. And the first thing we want to do is to use CD Audio Manager instead of simple audio engine to preload the background music. So we comment out this line and write CD Audio Manager, Shared Manager, preload background music, background.mp3. Also, when we play, comment out this line and let's use the CD Audio Manager instead. CD Audio Manager, Shared Manager, play background music, and observe that we must now specify the loop parameter background.mp3 and loop yes. Let's test that this works. Click on Sound 2 click on sound 1, stop. Isn't it strange that this works? If we go to interface file, we don't import CD Audio Manager. Only Simple Audio Engine. Go to simpleaudioengine.h. We see that the first thing it does is to import the CD Audio Manager. In fact, Simple Audio Engine is just a wrapper for CD Audio Manager. Let's also take a look at cdaudioManager.h. Here you see that two audio source channels are supported, the left one and the right one. Here is a protocol called CD-long audio source delegate, defining two optional methods. And the first method is called CD audio sorcery, and that's the one we are interested in. Here you can read that CD-long audio source represents an audio source that has a long duration, which makes it costly to load into memory for playback as an effect. Examples include background music and narration tracks. Well, the reason for using an audio source instead of sound effect is not only the length of the sound, but also that you can get a callback when your sound finishes when you use an audio source, but not when you use a sound effect. Here is the interface for CD-long audio source, a list of its methods, and here is the interface for CD Audio Manager and a long list of its methods. Let's open cdaudioManager.m and scroll to the audio player did finish playing, which is the actual callback from Apple's audio framework. Here you can read that there is an audio issue, which in plain English means a bug, with the simulator. It may happen that strange things happen with sounds in the simulator, but when you test on the iPhone device itself, there are no problems. You should be aware of that. Let's also open cocosdention.h. Here you can read that CD Audio Manager is basically a thin wrapper around an AV audio player object used for playing background music and a CD sound engine object used for playing sound effects. So this tells you that you can use many sound effects simultaneously, in fact 32 of them, in combination with two audio source channels. As I said earlier, you can't detect when a sound effect finishes, but you can detect when an audio source sound finishes. Let's go back to Hello World layer and add a third button. We can call it item 3, and use these images, also call another method button 3 and change the position, and also add it to the menu. Now we can write it. Void button 3. What do we want to do here? We want to play a sound using CD Audio Manager. In order to do that, we need a CD-long audio source. So let's go to the interface and declare an instance variable, CD-long audio source, and we'll call it something like write channel. In fact, there are two channels you can use for long audio sources, the left channel and the right channel. By default, the CD Audio Manager uses the left channel for background music, so we have the right channel left, which is the one we will use. Let's go back and initialize this channel. We'll do that in our init method. Right channel equals CD Audio Manager, Shared Manager, audio source for channel, and we specify the right channel by writing KASC right. Go to button 3 and write right channel. First we have to load it. Load it with power.mp3 and then play it with right channel play. Build and run. Play first the background music, then the sound effect, and then the sound from our right channel.
You don't know the power.
If we click at this button again,
You don't know the power. You don't know the power.
we hear the sound twice. That is the bug in the simulator I've mentioned earlier. On the device it does not happen. Let's go back. What we want to do is to detect when the sound ends. There is a callback function that the system sends, but only to the delegates of the audio source. So let's go to the init method and write write channels delegate equals self, that is this layer. We must also make sure that our layer conforms to the delegate protocol. So go to interface and write CD long audio source delegate. Go back, and now we are ready to receive the callback. Void CD audio source did finish playing, and for now just log sound finished. Build and run. Play background music. When we click on an effect, nothing is logged. But when we click on an audio source,
You don't know
then
the
we
power.
get a log when the sound finishes. Go back. Now, instead of just logging something, let's do something more interesting. For instance, simple audio engine, shared engine, play effect, dark.mp3. Observe that we are using a sound effect here because we wouldn't want to get another didFinish callback generated from this sound here. If you really wanted to use an audio source instead of a sound effect, you would need to introduce an instance variable in form of an integer or a mutable array to keep track of which sound generated the current callback. But that's beyond this tutorial. So, first power.mp3 will be played, and when it finishes, the dark.mp3 will be played. Let's run it. Background music, sound effect, audio source.
You don't know the power of the dark side.
Thank you for watching.